Hi everyone, it's Matt. Welcome back to week 2 of 52 standard decks. This one is near and dear to my heart. This is my masterpiece. For those of you that have been watching for a little while, you know that I've been trying to tune and refine Esper Dance for quite a while, and I think I finally nailed it. I added 4 copies of Starfield Mystic to the deck. It lets you power out a bunch of undercosted artifacts and undercosted enchantments, and double spell as early as turn 3. Play a turn 3 Doom Foretold, and it also provides a lot of pressure against decks that aren't doing a whole lot, and it's really kind of taken the deck to the next level. I feel like it's improved all of the matchups, and it allows for some pretty powerful starts. So I'm excited to take this one into a standard event and unleash it on some unsuspecting victims. Other than the inclusion of Starfield Mystic, the deck is pretty similar. I'm really trying to push the synergy as much as possible. So I got rid of Thirst for Meaning, and I added an extra Banishing Light, and also added an extra Elspeth Conquers Death. It's nice that we can get it down on turn 4 now. And the deck has felt really strong. Sideboard, just quickly, Duress for control decks, Devout Decree, Aether Gust, Legion's End for mono red and other aggressive decks, Elder Spell for Bant mid-ramp, Dovin's Veto, Mystical Dispute for other control decks along with Narset, and a Cry of the Carnarium there at the bottom as a quicker way to wipe the board against mono red. So let's take it into an event and see how we do. Oh, and I didn't mention I've decided to name this one Dancing with the Stars. I could not help myself, so that's where that comes from. I've played this deck in its current form for about a week now, and got to Mythic pretty quickly with it. It definitely feels more explosive than the previous versions, and having that higher synergy has really helped as well. I noticed when I was sideboarding, a lot of times I ended up making the deck worse, so that kind of led me to this idea of trying to push the synergy as much as possible. And this was not an exciting start, but it's definitely keepable. And Omen of the Sea gives us a nice play on turn 2, and we have a pretty good curve after that. Looks like we're playing against the Bant mid-ramp deck. So, oh, they're short on lands, which definitely helps them. All of their scary stuff starts at 3 lands. So the fact that they have a tapped land on turn 3 does definitely slow them down. And I don't want another Oath of Kaya. I think I am happy to hit another land drop though. And I'll probably bounce the Omen of the Sea with Teferi. We are going to have to discard if I do that, so there is a chance that I wait until next turn. Yeah, I think that's actually slightly better, because this does give us the option of potentially bouncing something of theirs. Alright, and they're still digging for more lands. So let's go ahead and bounce this.
I'll protect
you. And run it back out. I don't want to scry first because there's a number of 2-drops I can find, including Starfield Mystic. Definitely don't need to draw more cards at this point. And I have plenty of lands. Okay, and having multiple Elspeth Conquers Death is nice. That's a good way to remove some of their planeswalkers and get back value when buying back Teferi or another card. I'm not sure if I want this Omen of the Sea. Our next turn is probably going to be Elspeth Conquers Death followed by Dream Trawler. I really am just looking directly for Doom Foretold. And we can get rid of Akaya's Wrath. So almost certainly they'll tick this down and try to hit another land drop. Oh, interesting. They must have one. Okay.
That's more like it.
I like getting Elspeth Conquers Death out there. This is going to provide a speed bump on the next turn as well with the increased casting cost of non-creature spells. Scariest thing they can do here would be Nissa killing Teferi, and then we still have the Elspeth Conquers Death to get back Teferi after that. So I think we're in pretty good shape here. It's an Elspeth Conquers Death war. So we have a couple interesting options. The two main ones are playing Elspeth Conquers Death to get rid of theirs and running out Dream Trawler. I think I'm inclined to run out Dream Trawler here. Just puts a lot of pressure on them and they don't have a good way to deal with it. And I could even consider bouncing their Elspeth Conquers Death here. I think I'm not going to do that right away though.
I've got it.
We should be able to find another land off Dream Trawler and Teferi to play Elspeth Conquers Death next turn. Oh, Narset is annoying. We're going to have to deal with that first, as it shuts down all of our card drawing options. And Night of Autumn, not particularly good right now. So here, I think it makes sense to Oath of Kaya, killing Narset, attack with Dream Trawler, and then bounce Elspeth Conquers Death. Let me go with that. I want to make sure I get to draw the additional cards. Another option would be to let the Elspeth Conquers Death go off, but I don't love letting them get back a Narset with 6 loyalty. I think I'd rather they have to recast this just to get rid of something like a Teferi with 1 loyalty. In retrospect, I should have bounced that after killing the Narset and before attacking to get an extra point of damage with Dream Trawler. Okay. So I don't think they're going to have enough mana to play either Tamiyo or Elspeth Conquers Death here, which is nice. And then we again have some interesting options on our next turn. We probably... Well, we can take out the Nissa in a variety of ways here. We can play Treacherous Blessing to get the Dream Trawler big enough to do it. Oh, they have a Tamiyo mana now. So we can Starfield Mystic to start, and then we have a whole bunch of cheap enchantments we can play. Interesting. I'm not sure if that indicates they have a Mystical Dispute or an Aether Gust. It's odd to me that they did not play Tamiyo there. It's something to keep in mind. Well, I think we're going to still run out Starfield Mystic to start. Yeah, it feels like they have Mystical Dispute here. So knowing that, I think our best line of play is to play Hallowed Fountain untapped and then play Treacherous Blessing. Actually, no, they can't have Mystical Dispute because this was not a blue spell. I'm still gonna play this untapped. Go with Treacherous Blessing to try to kill Nissa with Dream Trawler. Oh, it's just a growth spiral. Okay, that makes more sense. And we have a wealth of cards in hand now. Unfortunately, I do need to take out this Nissa. Otherwise, we could put them pretty close to dead. But I think playing out a Narset here feels good. And then next turn, we can Starfield Mystic again, Archon of Grace, and drop a ton of enchantments.
Keep an open mind.
So let's get rid of the Birth of Meletus and a Teferi.
The moon looks intriguing tonight.
I just thought about it. We are actually playing the very deck we played in last week's edition of 52 weeks of standard decks. So we can get a pretty direct comparison between this original Esper Dance deck and the very popular Bant mid-ramp deck. Looks like they hit Shatter the Sky. Knowing that they hit Shatter the Sky, I was going to say I would consider trying to protect Narset, but they haven't given us that option, so we'll let it all through here. Alright. So we're definitely going to start out by playing that land. And I think Starfield Mystic into Archon into Banishing Light makes the most sense. This does allow them to then get back Tamiyo by exiling the Banishing Light. So it's possible we just want to attack it down with Oath of Kaya here and save the Banishing Light. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
subject is easily agitated.
So now they can Elspeth Conquers Death on the Archon, but then we have both Banishing Light and Elspeth Conquers Death of our own, and then next turn a huge Dance of the Manse. And if for some reason they don't get rid of the Archon this turn, we can just bring back a ton of enchantments and kind of go off that way. They also have the option of minusing Tamiyo. Not too much that I'm afraid of them getting back, though. They could get back another Elspeth Conquers Death. So it looks like they are going to take out the Archon. We still have enough to attack Tamiyo down next turn with just what we have on the board. They don't have enough mana to actually replay Uro here. We'll see what they decide to do with Tamiyo. We should have a healthy number of enchantments in our yard as well. Alright, so what are they digging for? Hydroid Crisis. Okay, that makes sense. So here, let's take out Tamiyo. Get rid of Elspeth Conquers Death. And I'm going to wait till next turn on the Dance of the Manse when I can bring back a ton of enchantments as creatures. So if they have nothing in hand, they'll probably start by bringing back Uro here. Even a Hydroid Crisis is not particularly scary. We can just hit that with a Banishing Light, and they're not drawing that many cards off of it. Looks like they're looking at their graveyard to see what they can exile with Uro. The nice thing about Banishing Light the Uro is even if they destroy the Banishing Light, it goes back to the graveyard after hitting the battlefield because it didn't just escape. So here, they should probably get rid of our flyer, but we have a lot of action now. So let's start off with a Dance of the Manse for 6. We're going to keep our creature one. Get rid of Teferi. And keep Treacherous Blessing to reload. And get rid of Uro and get in there. Since literally 0 decks that are played in tournaments have Starfield Mystic in it, one of the nice advantages of playing that card is that very few people know what it does. I've gotten a lot of people with the second clause where it says it gets a +1/+1 counter when an enchantment goes to the yard. You can have an Omen of the Sea out and sacrifice it to pump it with a +1 counter at instant speed. I've had people throw away creatures to that. And then with Oath of Kaya, frequently you'll play one when you already have one out there. So sending the original to the graveyard will also pump your Starfield Mystic. And then with Doom Foretold and all the sagas, obviously there's a lot of synergy with Starfield Mystic as well. Alright, so we'll have to take that out before dropping our Treacherous Blessing. Let's bring back a Dream Trawler here. And actually, we have lethal here, so there's no need to take out the Narset. Go ahead and bring back the Oath of Kaya. Alright, so game one against last week's deck definitely felt pretty good. And I think post board we have some good tools against them as well. Mystical Dispute is really strong. Narset's also really strong. Turns off Growth Spiral, Uro, and a couple other things that they're doing. And then the Surprise Elder spell can really get them as well if they do build up that Planeswalker suite. In terms of what we're cutting, Birth of Meletus seems pretty weak. And I'm going to cut at least one Wrath. And probably one Oath of Kaya. It's good at getting rid of Teferi if it takes down, but it doesn't do a great job of getting rid of a ton of their Planeswalkers. It also does hit Narset if it takes down. Now that I say that, I'm actually a little bit more inclined to cut a Teferi of our own and bring back the Oath of Kaya. I think this is a little bit better because getting rid of Narset easily is important. And Teferi does get hit by Mystical Dispute, which they're probably bringing in against us. So I think this configuration is a little bit better. Okay, this is a pretty strong starter. I like having Starfield Mystic and a couple plays early on. I'm going to probably lead with Island just to not totally telegraph that we have the Mystical Dispute. Alright, so here it looks like they have probably Growth Spiral. We could consider not playing Starfield this turn and countering the Growth Spiral to try to slow them down, maybe pinch them on lands, but I think getting Starfield out is really important and it allows us to be proactive and start pressuring them. So I'm going to save that Mystical Dispute for something else. Obviously if they play exactly Teferi here, feels kind of bad because the Mystical Dispute won't be effective for a little while. Although even now, we can directly Oath of Kaya the Teferi. I'm sort of inclined to replay Starfield Mystic and then Oath on the next turn. Yeah, I like this better. We would not have mana to Mystical Dispute anyway if we Oath of Kaya right now, and Teferi ticking up doesn't really do anything. So, 5th land Nissa here is really bad for us. Probably not coming back from that, if that happens, and it does. I think I should probably stop talking about what's really bad for us. It seems to immediately happen as soon as I mention it, so I'll keep that in mind for future games. So here, Omen of the Sea. What do we need to dig towards? We need to dig towards probably Doom Foretold, our Elder spell. We could actually Doom Foretold on the same turn as we play Omen of the Sea with Starfield Mystic. I'm going to keep that on top. And here we're going to take out their land and get rid of Teferi. We're not going to be able to attack Nissa down with our Starfield Mystic. And at least we have a chance of Mystical Disputing something now. So next turn, we Omen of the Sea, look for Elspeth Conquers Death or Doom Foretold. We're 1 white mana short of Elspeth Conquers Death at the moment, though. So our real chance is if they don't play anything that sticks to the board here, and then we can find Doom Foretold off of Omen of the Sea. So we'll take an Uro. Got him. Okay. Start with Omen. And again, if we find Doom Foretold, we can do this. Oath of Kaya and Archon. Well, Archon has to go to the bottom. Oath of Kaya is good enough, I think. So here we can take out the Temple of Mystery and start attacking Nissa down.
I will endure.
And then we might be able to get rid of Nissa next turn by playing Dance of the Manse to bring back Oath of Kaya. Still definitely looking for a Doom Foretold though. Doom Foretold just got a lot worse. For those of you that don't know, Tamiyo's passive means that we can't force them to discard or, more importantly, sacrifice.
Follow the tracks of the wise.
Oof. If we had another white source, that would be quite good. As it is, okay, we have just Oath of Kaya in the yard. We can bring that back, kill the plains, kill Tamiyo. Next turn, Elspeth conquers death. Nissa. Alternatively, we could attack first, sacrifice this to kill the plains. That seems much worse, even though it does make Dance of the Manse better the next turn. Alright, we go with the original. Bring this back. We're just one power short of being able to actually attack the Nissa down here. But we're doing everything we can to stay in it. At least we are taking them off of some lands. And then if we can hit a white mana, we may still have a chance. We really need probably Doom Foretold. The one Wrath that we kept in would be okay as well. If they play Dream Trawler here and animate another land, being able to clear out Dream Trawler and a land is pretty good. And then maybe we can Elspeth Conquers Death on the next turn, but we still need a white source for both of those plans. So we have to hope that they do not read Starfield Mystic, or they don't put together the combination of Starfield Omen of the Sea. Dream Trawler of our own is also okay, but we're still a white mana shy. Let's attack Nissa here. So we're really hoping for a block with Dream Trawler here. My opponent does seem to be potentially reading right now. Alright, they figured that part out. Still going to do this. Oh, it's a tapped white source. That does not work. Gotta bottom both of those. Okay. At this point, there's not too much that gets us out of this, but we'll play one more turn. Hydroid Crisis, also really bad for us right now. I know I said I was going to stop naming the things that were really bad for us, but just can't help myself.
Rise, my elemental friend.
If they do play Crisis here, unfortunately, since we're still stuck on one white source, even the Wrath is not going to get us out of it. They are deep in the tank about something. Oh, there it is. Definitely still seems to be true. Every time I name the worst case scenario, it does immediately occur. Alright, we'll take a peek at our draw step and then go to game 3. Banishing Light. Well, not a terrible draw, but not enough to keep us alive either. We can kill Nissa and get rid of the Crisis, but they still have lethal. Alright, at least we are on the play this time. Duress can also be really strong against them. I'm a little hesitant to bring it in because it does add some fuel to their graveyard for cards like Uro. And I'm not sure what I want to cut for it. Yeah, I'm going to keep it like this. I like, again, trying to maximize our synergy and being proactive. We have ways to deal with their planeswalkers once they come down, so I'm going to run it back. I have brought in Duress against this deck before, and it's usually fairly effective. It's just, I think on the play, I like to really try to get our plan A going. On the draw, I think actually Duress might be a little bit better because we don't want them to snowball, so being able to pick off a planeswalker or two early on can be helpful. And this is the dream hand. I just don't have a black source. I don't think I can send this one back. Starfield Mystic into Doom Foretold is basically the best possible start. So I'm going to keep it and really hope we can find one of our black sources. And if not, we can get the 2-2 beatdown going. All right, and we got there. So we'll play out the Mystic. And another nice thing about Doom Foretold is it's not a blue card. So unless they have Negate here, they can't really stop this from happening. Looks like they have maybe Growth Spiral in hand, but this is going to be a pretty big deficit for them to come back from. We're going to have 5 power on the board, and they're going to be at 18 giving up a card. And we're gaining a card from this exchange. And Vanishing Light's a great draw as well. We'll be able to Starfield Mystic into that for 1 mana. We can also start throwing down multiple Oath of Kayas to take things out and pump our Mystics. So let's start by attacking with both. Play out the second Mystic. So here, we could consider keeping up Mystical Dispute. Again, I think being assertive, getting plan A going, is so much more important when you're on the play. So we're just going to continue to put pressure on. Worst case scenario here is Shatter the Sky. I really gotta stop doing that. Could not have stopped that with Vanishing Light anyway, though. Or sorry, with Mystical Dispute. We'll scry here. Don't want to draw a land. We'll just keep up the Mystical Dispute for now. And if we can find another Doom Foretold, Dance of the Manse, or any of our threats, we should be in good shape. Definitely not letting that resolve. Alright, and we are going to get to scry here. We'll wait to see what they do first. Okay. Am I thinking they're going to be drawing a card here? Nope. Okay.
This might be a bad
Interesting.
idea.
We'll pass. Feels like they may have Mystical Dispute mana up. Is the Elder Spell what we want? I think it's good to have. It's a great insurance policy. For now, I think we Vanishing Light. And they won't be able to counter this. They can play Mystical Dispute for value if they'd like. And I don't see a reason to play out the Oath of Kaya right now. I guess it does make a Dance of the Manse better. There's not too many 3/3s we're looking to take out with it, but we could hit Narset with it. We do have the Elder Spell for that. It's kind of close. If we draw exactly Dance of the Manse, we would have wanted to play out Oath of Kaya. I think I'm going to go for that because we can scry and try to find that Dance of the Manse. Also, if they counter this, I'm okay with that. It is just loading up the yard similarly to if we actually hit them with it. Alright, I'm not going to name any worst case scenarios. We'll just see what they've got. That would have been one of them. No. So, our worst case scenario is we let this go off and then we hit Nissa and Teferi with Elder Spell.
I am not making this up as I go.
And it does look a little bit like we're heading towards worst case scenario territory. Really hoping to find the Dance of the Manse. So that's what we're going to be looking for with our scries. Night of Autumn, if they blow up our Oath of Kaya, is actually good for us. I imagine they're gonna... Okay, so they're gaining life with it. That makes more sense. Put themselves a little bit more out of range.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Okay, and maybe they're gonna attempt to get rid of our Oath of Kaya with the Elspeth Conqueror's Death. A little surprised they didn't leave that on the battlefield to get back Nissa. Alright, Doom Foretold and Treacherous Blessing are both spectacular. So, their play is going to work out reasonably well for them if they can hit our Doom Foretold. I'm going to draw some cards here. We definitely don't need another land.
Here we go.
Still looking for Dance of the Manse. Alright, the Elder Spell is looking better and
It's
better.
an honor to meet you. To the
I'm probably gonna look for
library.
a Hydroid Crisis. Another Nissa, okay. Alright, so I think we have to Elder Spell Doom Foretold here. They will Elspeth Conquers Death it, and then we need to find a Dance of the Manse. Alternatively, we could just Elder Spell and Scry. That makes the Elspeth Conquers Death less good. That actually feels quite a bit stronger, just because taking out the 2/1 Knight of Autumn is not really impactful, and getting our Doom Foretold Elspeth Conquer Death is really bad. This is definitely a marathon match here. If we can find Dance of the Manse, another Treacherous Blessing, or even probably a Narset, I think we have a pretty decent shot. I expect them to be bringing... Oh man, they did find a Nissa. So now they can Nissa and Earl on the same turn. So we're sort of... Our window is closing to finish this game. We really need to find something quite good on the very next turn. Elspeth Conquers Death would be very good as well. Kaya's Wrath could keep us in it. Actually, Kaya's Wrath would be spectacular because we can then Kaya's Wrath Doom Foretold to get rid of Nissa. Is Teferi good enough? We can Teferi bounce Oath of Kaya. I think we have to try that. It gives us another card. Gives them something to deal with. Start with playing our land.
Trust me, you'll thank me later.
Could also bounce Uro. If we can find another Oath of Kaya, this can help us take out the Nissa, though. I'm gonna go with this.
Let's try this.
Alright. We're still alive. Looking for Kaya's Wrath with this one. Oh, man. We can... Starfield, Oath, Doom. Draw cards next turn. Feels loose. I think the odds of us hitting Kaya's Wrath, though, are getting pretty slim. Also, Omen, and then worst case scenario, Oath. I'm going to go with that. Oh, wow. So close. Okay. Well, we're going to draw this, and we'll draw the Kaya's Wrath next turn. Let's go ahead and take out the Forest. Actually, do we want to take out the Knight of Autumn so the Doom Foretolds can get rid of more? I think I am going to do that. I don't know that the extra mana is really important right now, and this gives us at least a chance to get rid of their permanence with Doom Foretold.
The land fights for us.
So we can Wrath, and then I think we're shy of being able to double Doom Foretold, unfortunately. 10 mana right now. Yeah, so just Wrath, Doom Foretold. We'll get rid of Nissa. If they have Hydroid Crisis here, that probably does close out the game, though. So they're considering playing something. It's unclear what. Alright. So it looks like Hydroid Crisis, maybe keeping up like a Mystical Dispute. Go ahead and clear the board. Oh, this is a gate? Dovin's Veto. Alright, well, unfortunately, that is going to do it. That was a long and tough match, but they did come out ahead in the end. Unfortunately, we never found that Dance of the Manse. Go ahead and concede here. Alright, and join me in the next video for our second match in the standard event. Hopefully it's a little bit smoother than the first one. See you then. Bye.